Hello and welcome to Totally Abstracted. I'm your host Michelle, and today we're exploring another important element of abstract landscapes: movement. Movement is what gives a painting life. It creates a sense of flow, guiding the viewer's eye across the canvas, allowing them to experience your work as a journey rather than a static image. Whether it's the way a river flows through a valley or the dance of light across water, movement is everywhere in the natural world. And as abstract landscape artists, we have the power to harness that movement and use it in our paintings. So let's explore how we can create dynamic, flowing compositions that lead the eye and evoke deep emotion. The first way to capture and convey movement is through lines. Lines are one of the most powerful tools we have to create movement. A strong diagonal can create energy and drama, while a soft meandering curve evokes a sense of calm and fluidity. The way we use line in an abstract landscape helps set the rhythm of the piece. One of my favourite ways to introduce movement is through scrolling lines using a sharp, thin tool, or sometimes the back of a thin paintbrush. This creates spontaneous gestural marks. I also love using the edge of my catalyst wedge for vertical lines, adding structure and depth. You can also experiment using directional brushwork that suggests the flow of wind, water, or shifting light, or by layering and scraping back lines to reveal glimpses of colour and form from underneath. You can also contrast line weight to add variation, so thin, delicate lines alongside bold, sweeping marks to create visual tension. Texture is another powerful way to create movement. Think about how certain surfaces naturally draw the eye: the rough erosion of cliffs, the swirling grain of wood, or the undulations of sand dunes. By using textural elements intentionally, you can create pathways that invite the viewer to explore different areas of the painting. Some ideas to experiment with are dragging thick paint across the surface with a palette knife or catalyst wedge to create directional movement, or using sponges to suggest foliage, or brayers to create soft rolling transitions or rougher, more textured areas, depending on pressure and paint consistency. You could also incorporate texture mediums like modelling paste or sand gel to build up raised areas that catch light and create a natural sense of movement. Texture doesn't just create visual movement, it also invites the viewer to feel the painting in a more visceral way, deepening their connection to the piece. Colour also plays a huge role in leading the eye. A well-placed gradient, for example, can create a sense of depth, distance, or atmosphere, subtly guiding the viewer through the composition. When using gradients for movement, you can shift intensity from dark to light to create the illusion of space or direction. You can use temperature contrasts to create a natural push and pull. Warm colours tend to advance, while cooler colours recede. And you can also use blending and feathering transitions to create soft edges that flow effortlessly. When movement is intentional, it transforms a painting from a static image into an experience. By combining line, texture, and colour flow, you create a sense of rhythm and direction that keeps the viewer engaged. Before calling a piece finished, take a step back and ask yourself, where does my eye naturally travel? Are there areas that feel too stagnant or disconnected? Is there a sense of journey or progression in the piece? Sometimes a small adjustment, a directional mark, a scrape back highlight, or a subtle shift in tone can make all the difference in enhancing movement. For this week's challenge, I invite you to create a piece that deliberately explores movement. Whether it's sweeping lines, textural layers, or fluid colour transitions, experiment with ways to lead the viewer on a journey across your canvas. Movement is what brings an abstract landscape to life. By thoughtfully using line, texture, and gradients, we can guide the eye, evoke emotion, and create paintings that feel dynamic and immersive. Thank you for joining me today on Totally Abstracted. I hope this episode sparks new ideas for your own work. Until next time, stay inspired, embrace the process, and above all, keep things totally abstracted.